It's been a long time. Oh, that's the wrong one.
God, it followed us even here.
It's been a week, but it's still in my head.
Even here. This is the bi-weekly, supposed to be, podcast where we answer your most burning questions about Star Trek, sci-fi, and life.
We've even answered questions about art on this show.
Yeah, we have, actually.
We've answered a lot of questions.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Josh.
And we want you guys to write into us at mclassemail@gmail.com. No S.
No S. Don't do it.
Because I'm dumb. I'm very bad at branding. But
it's fine. We'll get that SEO up one of these days.
We'll break 400 listeners one day.
Yeah!
Why don't we hop right into our emails? And
first email.
If I don't thank you for your email, thank you.
A free thank you. Oh my.
Thank you everyone for writing in. Our first email is from Alex Newby.
What a newbie.
Oh God.
I bet he's never, he or she, I don't know if it's a she, could be a she, I don't know.
Yeah, Alex is gender neutral.
Omnisexual.
Yeah. All the sex.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Trek babes.
Trek babes! That's a new one.
Been listening since the very first episode. Thank you.
Wonderful, I love you.
Huge fan of all things Josh Tenu.
Oh boy.
And now everything Jeff. Hey.
Yeah, me too. Jeff's my only reason I listen to this show.
I don't
I'm
listen
serious.
to it.
I don't either. I edit it and I'm like, that's fine.
Kamen Rider podcast? I give that shit 5 out of 5 starfish Hitlers.
Wow, is that good? I don't know.
Do you know about that, by the way?
Oh, the clip with the grave, right?
No. There's a
Is that what you're talking about?
There's a monster in Kamen Rider X, which is like the 5th series.
It should be the 10th one.
It really should. But there's a monster in it. Like, all the monsters in it are based on historical figures and animals.
So it's Japanese, so Hitler's fine over there.
There's a Scarface. It's a... Yeah.
Al Capone?
There's a baby face. It's like baby face bear or something.
Oh my god.
And one of them is Starfish Hitler.
Yeah.
And...
that makes sense.
So 5 out of 5 Starfish Hitlers.
I love it.
My morning commute is better for being able to listen to you guys rock out with your Josh out.
Nice. There it is.
Less up with your Jeff up.
Oh my god.
And 420 phase up till your day's up.
420 phase it. That's a shirt. That's a fucking shirt. Shirt it.
My question is this. If you could choose the perfect director / writer / producers, etc. for a new Star Trek property, or to replace those of a previous show or movie, who would you choose and why? Love and Klaxons, Alex N.
Well, Seth MacFarlane's doing like a better Star Trek show than anyone's done in the past 20 years. So
what I'm hearing.
I don't know if I would pick him to do it though. If he like executive produced it like he did The Cosmos, which is amazing. If you haven't watched The Cosmos,
that is
watch
absolutely
it.
Amazing. You should.
It's incredible. Yeah,
it's an experience.
It's fucking wonderful. Like it's great. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Who did that movie that came out recently? Contact, I think, with like the aliens that they have to figure out how to.
Oh yeah.
With.
Well, that was a Carl Sagan book.
Yeah.
I don't know who directed it.
I don't know.
Ron Howard? Maybe? I don't know who did it.
Ron Howard could get his brother Clint in, and they could definitely do some Star Trek stuff.
He has to wear the Ferengi makeup, though.
He has to be the disheveled homeless man from Deep Space Nine.
Robert Zemeckis directed it. There you go. Wow.
Okay. Maybe Robert Zemeckis.
I did not know that. Yeah, that would work,
That'd
right?
Be pretty good.
I don't know if there's anyone
there is a perfect.
No, I don't either.
I don't know.
There certainly isn't one now. Nobody's in the right frame of mind right now to make a Star Trek.
They should get Kubrick to direct Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
That would be great. If only. Kubrick's clone could do that.
And
maybe the Duffer Brothers from Stranger Things. I don't know, man.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either.
Reference heavy, I'll tell you that much.
It would be super referencey. I don't think it would work either.
I don't know. That's a really tough question that we're not going to answer. I'm sorry.
I just don't think there's anyone right now who could do it. I'm sure there is. But if it would be like it would be like
bullshit. Somebody.
Yeah, it would be. I think it would be like Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Like no one's gonna see it coming. No one's gonna see how great it is when it gets here.
It's
right?
True. But it'll blow everybody's fucking socks
hopefully
off.
Whoever that is. Hopefully.
I don't know. I feel like Star Trek's gonna have to have another resting period.
I do too.
If like Discovery doesn't really get good in its second season.
It's not going to get good. Even if it does, no one's going to watch it because it's on that fucking shit. So.
I guess it's true.
It could be amazing, and no one's going to see it.
It's going to have another resting period because, like, the movies have petered out.
Yeah, I don't know if they're making another one.
The Discovery is, like, locked behind a paywall, so it's not doing numbers that they want to see.
Right.
It's going to have another cooling off period. I hope it's not as long.
Yeah.
But I'll understand if it is, and hopefully
it was only like 5 years, right, between the two. When was Nemesis? 2004 or 2?
I think it was 4.
So then 2009. So yeah, it felt like a long time though.
I mean, I'll understand if they do need that much time. I just want them to come at it with like a perspective that understands that you have to you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah, you gotta make Star Trek. That's the whole name of the show.
Like, Star Trek has a history to it, and you can't just throw that out on a whim.
Well, they did it with Star Wars too, so
yeah.
They're like, why would I put a bunch of aliens that people have already made? Let's just make new ones and have this be a whole nother thing. It's like, what?
Like,
I don't understand that.
History exists for a reason in Star Trek, especially. Like, when they made TNG was a vast departure from TOS in style and in a lot of ways in substance. They still kept the history of Star Trek intact, and they still, like, referenced heavily what came before. They stood on the shoulders of giants, you know?
Yeah, you use what you can for your benefit. You don't just start over. That's dumb. That's dumb.
It also doesn't make for a good Star Trek show.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're in, like, the reboot society now, right? Where, like, everything needs to be completely rebooted from the ground up.
Right. And sometimes that works. Like, I think everyone is super spoiled with Marvel, because Marvel can kind of get away with it.
Oh, yeah. If a movie doesn't do well for Marvel, they just shelve it for 1 year and come out with a reboot.
Right. And like the new Spider-Man is like really good. It's like, oh my god, this is a really good Spider-Man movie.
They got it right.
Right. But that's not going to be the case for like pretty much everything else. It's not going to work that way.
It's because it's comics. There's just sort of understanding that reboots and shit are going to happen.
Yeah.
That's not the way it works in everything. And I mean, just think about, did you see the new Blade Runner?
I didn't.
Oh man, it's actually pretty damn good.
That's what everyone says. Nick was saying that too.
And it's like, if that movie would have been a reboot, it would have lost all of its heart.
Yeah.
The fact that it's connected to this world we already know and understand is what makes it work.
Yeah, we're going to hopefully come back to that again. Hopefully. I hope people... The thing is, it's going to have to be lucrative. That's the only way it's going to continue to happen that way.
It's like original ideas aren't given the same play that they were at a certain point. I mean, like, you think about the 80s, like, the Terminator wasn't anything before.
Right.
It just happened.
It just was a thing,
Yeah, like, RoboCop just happened.
Right.
All these
Ghostbusters just happened.
Yeah,
all these things
just happened. They weren't based on anything. They weren't a reboot of something.
They were original ideas,
It was an original idea, and that's, like, a big risk to take for a studio. And when you're pumping, like, God, like $1 billion into a movie?
Well, like $4 billion with Star Wars, right?
Yeah, like,
because that's how much it costs
like
to get it.
$4 billion fucking dollars into a movie?
Yeah.
you just can't take a risk on it, and I guess that's why like independent films are getting more play now.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Like, it sucks that like original shit isn't as prominent as we like to think it was at one point. Like, I don't know, what's that movie though? With the aliens come and the lady has to decipher the language.
Oh,
that's
Contact.
pretty.
We talked about that a minute ago.
Oh, Contact?
I think it's called Contact.
Oh, one of them. I was looking up Contact from fucking 1997 Contact.
No, not that one.
Oh, okay. The guy who did Contact did, fuck. What the fuck? It's not Contact. It's something else.
It's not Contact?
I don't remember. Contact.
We got all mixed up.
We're all, Arrival. It's called Arrival.
That's what it's called.
It's called Arrival.
That movie was pretty good.
Yeah, it's incredibly good.
I really like that movie.
Dennis Villeneuve, and that's the guy who did fucking Blade Runner. So that's why.
Oh, so that's why.
Yeah,
like maybe
that's
he could
why you
handle
like
a really good Star Trek.
Maybe he could. Yeah, maybe he could.
I think that's my choice then.
I'll go with that too.
We answered your question finally, Alex.
In a super roundabout way.
We got on a couple tangents, but everything's okay now. Thanks for writing in, though.
Thank you.
Our next email is from Zach Daniel.
Hi.
Who says, "Hey, Trek boys!
Trek boys!
I was wondering, do you have any special connections to a particular movie or episode? Did you ever see an episode with a significant other or family member that made you really connect to the Trek?"
Oh, that's a great question.
Connect to the Trek. For example, the only reason that I enjoyed the shitstorm that is Star Trek 2009 is because I went to see it with my mom, who is a Trekkie, and the reason I got into Star Trek in the first place.
That's lovely.
During the scene where Spock is flying the red matter into Nero's ship, and one of the Romulans says to Nero, "Captain, I've picked up another ship," my mother turned to me in the theater and grabbed my arm because she was so excited that the Enterprise was showing up to save the day. That will always stick with me as an excellent moment with both Star Trek and my mom.
That's great.
That's actually
great email.
A really, really cute story.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Any similar or touching examples from your Trek times? I don't have anything that touching.
No, nothing that compares to that, so I'm not going to even say anything.
I know when they played the actual Star Trek theme at the end of 2009, my father-in-law just started crying.
That's crazy.
Because he loves Star Trek so much.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Man, I've only ever watched Star Trek alone.
My wife and I actually watched all of TNG together, so it's just something that we constantly quote and talk about back and forth to each other.
Yeah. I never watched Star Trek with significant others. Just because it just happened that way. No reason, really. I don't know. But I remember in 96, when First Contact came out, I went to see it, I think by myself, which is like, I was like, what, like 13 at the time? So like, I was just like, drop me off the movies, Mom, you know?
Don't come in.
Don't come with me. And like, I think like, that was the first time I really like realized like, I'd always loved Star Trek, but I really realized like, oh, this is a universe coming together. Like, this universe is like really
you realize
amazing.
The deeper meaning of it. Like as a kid, I really liked Star Trek, but I didn't understand all this world, this universe that exists inside of the series.
Yeah, it's always been like pretty much something I've like held really close to the vest, and I think maybe that's why I'm so defensive of it. Is because like for me, it's very personal.
Oh yeah,
and
it's like I think your world.
Yeah, it's like my thing, right? Yeah. And I don't want anyone fucking with it. So that if I get upset about, like, Star Trek, it's only because, like, I have trust issues.
Trust issues with Trek.
Trek issues.
I understand that. I definitely do. Like, up until I watched TNG with my wife, like, I don't think I'd ever watch Star Trek with anybody, so...
Yeah. And I don't even have a wife.
You got me.
Oh, never mind. I have a wife. Put your wife to bed. I'm your wife.
We put him on the spot because we love him a lot. Welcome back.
Sing it, Welcome Back, Cotter.
Yes. Unrelated. But Zach is the one who had that little snippet thanking you that he wanted not read on the air that I sent you via.
Oh yeah, yeah,
message.
that was very nice. Yes, I was very nice. Thank you.
And he finishes the email by saying, P.S. Jeff is awesome. Please include him in more things and give him a little kiss for me.
I will.
Yeah. Everybody leaves happy.
Yippee!
Thanks for that email. That was it was a beautiful
good email. Yeah, that was a really good one.
Our next
we should have like a prize or something for the best email, and they win like something silly.
I don't know what they could win.
I don't know.
We'll work that out. We'll do like a prize for best email.
Best email gold chain.
So that way everybody who writes in will be angry except one person.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
It'll be perfect. Our next email is from Jonathan Long.
Hi.
Who says, Dear Trek Boys.
Trek Boys.
Oh God, Satan's here.
It's me, the devil. It's Feklar.
Oh God.
The Klingon devil.
I got it.
You know. I know you know. I just they don't might not know who Feklar is.
Pitch it or
I'm nerd
ditch
checking them. Oh, pitch it or ditch it. Fucking shit.
Boston Sean Dupree's Pitch It or Ditch It. I gotta tagline that shit for him. Since he made it. Data becomes interested in pimp culture and starts lowbrow pimping everyone.
Everyone?
Since it's the future, all sexes are whored out. But also, since it's the future, people aren't whored out. He just sort of matches people up when someone had a problem and someone else can solve it. I don't know.
My
it was
God.
the 90s, so you can't show boobs on TV.
You can't. You can't really now either. Unless it's HBO.
The vision in my head of Data dressed like a pimp, just like solving people's problems because he thinks that's what they do, is hilarious.
Yeah, that's a really like just his super zoot suit pimp outfit with a feather boa.
And he's just being Data, but he's also just solving people's problems. I'm gonna pitch it.
I like the idea that Data doesn't understand something, so I think there's something there.
There's something in there about pimping.
Maybe he's not a pimp. Maybe he's like a matchmaker. Maybe he's trying to explore love.
Pimping ain't easy.
And he's trying to set people up, but in doing so, he's only setting up like people who are like having problems and like needing someone to talk to. I'll pitch that.
You're pitching like a serious episode, and I'm pitching like an episode I would never actually want to see, but it's hilarious to me. Also, Jeff, since you're from the South, have you had a Casey's General Store sub? If so, is it comparable to Wawa?
Have you ever had Wawa?
I have not had Wawa, nor have I had a Casey's General Store sub.
Yeah, you're not really in the South. Like, you're not...
I'm in a state that thinks they're the South.
Yeah,
but
you're in a state that's seceded from the South and now thinks it is the South.
We're trying to make up for it real hard.
Yeah, you're going the wrong direction, guys. Go the other way.
I want to eat me some good-ass Wawa, but I don't think I'll be able to make it to Philadelphia and the surrounding area before the U.S. goes Fallout 3 on us.
I'll answer it for you. Wawa's better than anything. So
you're so far up Wawa's ass. I swear.
Dude, it's incredible.
You were in the back pocket of Big Wawa.
Dude, I wish I was. Send me money.
Look, Wawa, if you want to sponsor this podcast, we will take that money.
I will take a free Gobbler a month token or pass just to pitch some Wawa. Dude, I'll do that.
Like, my wife is like a huge... She goes to Sheetz like every day.
Yeah.
Because there's one like right on the corner away from us. And like she went there so often and used the Sheetz card that they gave her like this thing called a Sheetz Freak card.
Holy shit.
That you just get one free coffee a day every month.
That's awesome.
And you can also get one free fountain drink a day with it.
You get free coffee here at Dunkin' Donuts if the Eagles win.
That's dope.
They stopped doing it because the Eagles have been winning too much. I'm serious. They're like, we can't give free coffee out anymore.
They did it because they were like, well, it's the Eagles. So.
Right. And they were like, they're not going to win. Oopsies.
Thanks for writing in, though. Thanks for writing in. I'm sorry
Good
I couldn't
email.
help you at all.
Yeah, I've never heard of that other thing.
Neither have
myself.
I, actually.
What was it? Claude's?
No. I don't remember now, but I clicked off the email, so it's dead to me.
Wow!
Our next email is from David Sandoval.
Okay.
Who says, "What up, Trek boys?
Trek boys!"
That always makes me laugh. Your show is a wonderful, approachable introduction to any of the Star Trek series, even when you dislike them. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the nicest thing I've heard so far.
Yeah.
In this email. I wanted to show you guys this crazy episode list that a friend compiled. He sent 10 images of like white lined paper that have like lists of episodes. Oh my god. From what I understand, he tried to create not only a collection of themed sets of episodes, but also full season arcs and pacing. He's really deep into the universe, so I'm sure he hid some gems and references throughout that a semi-casual like me won't quite feel the whole impact of.
Man, that's awesome.
That is really crazy. 10 images he sent me of this.
That would be really hard to do, because, I mean, that's kind of like what we do, right? We're thinking of the collections.
Yeah, but we're not having... He didn't have anybody do it for him, like a lazy asshole. Like we're...
Wow! That's true. But there's so many things that are similar. Like, there's a lot of episodes that you could put into different categories. That's crazy.
That's true. Anyway, I thought this might help spark some ideas for collections. I would suggest just using these for personal viewing, too.
Oh, I'm going to use them for personal viewing, if you know what I mean.
God.
I'm going to look at them on my free time. That's what I meant.
I'm going to Louis C.K. these episodes.
No! No!
Oh, I dated this episode so
No, it's not evergreen anymore.
It was definitely not already. It's fine. I'm currently doing a watch through of DS9 with my dad, and I think I'm actually a Ferengi because those are the best episodes. You're a Ferengi because you like the episodes. Oh my god,
that doesn't mean you're a Ferengi.
Love the show. Love you? Question mark. I should. Go.
All right, I'll take it.
P.S. Are you guys scared of transporters? I fear that every time someone goes through, their soul, their perspective, their awareness dies.
We don't have a soul.
Whoa.
Nobody has a soul, sorry to ruin it for you.
And that a reassembled version with all the same memories and body is born on the other end, able to check itself and say, oh, I guess I'm fine, and just seemingly replace the previous consciousness.
Think about it like a math problem. Everyone is just a walking math problem. So if this machine just, like, does the math and puts you back together again, it's the same thing as just moving from one side of an equation to another, right?
Yeah,
nothing gets
the same number.
Yeah, it's the same number. Yeah.
The thing is, our soul, for lack of a better word, our awareness is
our katra
is all our katra is all different chemical balances in the brain.
Yeah,
and different electrical impulses to different points in the cerebellum.
Right.
All of that is information that can be transported from one point to another.
Yeah, sure.
And also the thing that I always point out when people bring up this argument or are worried about it is that every scientist in the universe wouldn't have approved this thing that obliterates you and replaces you with another person. Somebody
it's not
would
the
have figured that
prestige.
out. There are people on the outside of the equation doing this. Like, someone wouldn't create a transporter to kill someone and make a duplicate of them.
Yeah, that would be not a thing that they would do.
And really, I don't know.
They just wouldn't use transporters because they don't for a while, as we saw in Enterprise, right? They're like, well, we don't use that shit.
Yeah.
They would just never use it if that was the case.
It's all mathematics. All of existence is mathematics.
Yeah, you're just a number walking through another bigger number. That's all that any of this is.
Which definitely sucks because I'm terrible at math. But
simple math.
PPS. Maybe y'all could try a time paradox or replacing collection. Those are also scary as fuck.
That's a really good one. You should put that in when we put it up as a poll on the Twitter.
Sure, on the Twitter, which is at M-Class Podcast.
I knew that one.
He points out the episode where Harry Kim gets replaced with an alternate Harry Kim and no one cares.
The Ketten one or whatever. And there's a couple of those.
The time traveling one with O'Brien.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry for the long email. Bye.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you,
ending.
David.
Great email.
Thanks, Davey. Our next email is from Andrew, name withheld upon request.
Okay, Andrew, name withheld upon request.
Hey guys, I don't really have a question this week. I just wanted to say that Josh, I also strongly dislike Mark Summers.
Thank you.
I thought I was the only one. At Mark.
He stinks.
At Mark, I hope you're listening to this, you tit ass.
Damn, he is a tit ass. Fuck Mark Summers, man.
What is your hatred of Mark Summers?
Alright, first of all, he's the most passive-aggressive asshole ever.
Wow!
Second of all, he's got crazy OCD. He's a lunatic. Sorry if anyone has OCD, but, like, his is really bad. He's boring as fuck, and everyone loves him just because when they were a kid, he hosted every single fucking show that they watched on Nickelodeon, but he stinks at it.
I want everyone to know that I'm completely ambivalent to Mark Summers.
Yeah, I'm completely ambivalent too, if ambivalent means fuck that guy.
No, I have absolutely no opinion on Mark Summers.
Yeah.
I look at him and I say, it's Mark Summers.
But isn't that, like, annoying? Isn't that, like, annoying to you? Shouldn't that guy be better than that? I feel like he should.
Well, the thing is, like, Mark Summers was probably eating a sandwich on a bench outside Nickelodeon Studios.
And they were like, do you want a job? Yeah.
They were just like, we gotta have somebody to host this shit.
Exactly. He's stupid.
And then he got a lifetime career on it. It's starting to make me mad now.
Now he's on Food Network and he's like, I do the show about the candy. And it's like, nobody cares about your candy show, asshole.
It is starting to make me mad now that I'm thinking of the fact that he has a career still to this day.
See?
Based on this shit.
Fuck him.
I'm still ambivalent. Have no opinion on Mark Summers.
I'm getting straight into rage territory right now.
Hated. Getting fucking hated. We got a longy. We got a longy one here.
A longy boy? Okay.
From someone named Poppy.
Okay. Poppy?
Who says, Ayo, Trek Boys!
Trek Boys!
I've been meaning to write forever, but I'm lazy and sort of easily overwhelmed by life. Anyway, I feel like that and Trek Boys are obligatory at this point. There is a protocol to observe.
That's right. That's the prime directive of this podcast.
This is just going to be a big old dump of stuff since I finally parked my carcass in front of a keyboard specifically to message y'all.
Nice.
I understand that if it's too long for the show, or I don't know, save it for a week when you need content.
That's smart.
I'm going to skip a little bit down here. We'll come back to it if we need content.
Okay.
Possible episode themes.
Okay.
Miles O'Brien didn't deserve all that shit.
I love it. I love it.
We were talking about that one earlier, actually.
Yeah, I love that.
Seriously, Trek writers, what the fuck?
Dude, he's just a whipping boy, dude.
Yeah. What even am Garrick?
I love Garrick.
I do too. His background, his motivations. Why would he remain loyal to Cardassia after getting utterly burned and exiled? I really like his character and how well he was played by Andy Robinson. Not gonna lie, I read the book Robinson wrote. I think it's called A Stitch in Time.
I don't know.
And I think he handled the backstory really well, adding a lot while still leaving some open-ended mysteries about Garrick.
I would totally read that.
Yeah, it's written by Garrick's actor about Garrick's history.
It makes sense because, like, he really is Garrick. Like, I don't think the writers knew what Garrick was totally, and I think he brought that character into the show. Like, he really was like, oh, this is Garrick.
The first time I saw him was, he was a Zodiac killer, right? In
Zodiac?
No, he was the ripoff Zodiac killer in Dirty Harry.
Okay, yeah.
But the second time I ever saw him before Deep Space Nine, he was the by-the-books rules lawyer cop in Cobra, starring Sylvester Stallone.
Oh my fucking god.
And Cobra punches him in the face at the end of the movie.
The only thing I've ever seen him on besides Star Trek is like a CSI and he was like a dog eaten by dogs or something.
Jesus.
Maybe it was it was X-Files. It was the new season of X-Files, and he was eaten by a werewolf. Yeah,
a werewolf.
It was a werewolf. Yeah.
Wow, that show went off the fucking rails.
Dude, that's X-Files, baby.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Okay, so this theme I don't know how to title, so let me just describe. One of the aspects of Trek that I have a love-hate relationship with is how the show aims to portray a future in which humanity has grown beyond prejudice and racism, but then the shows trip and fall on their faces with things like all Vulcans behave the same and have the same haircut and love the same foods. Like the writers fail to overcome today's actual problems of perspective, and it gets reflected in the show. Fuck, naturally I can't think of any great examples off the top of my head, but you could pick some episodes from any of the series that illustrate it.
It's hard in a show to create a level of diversity amongst characters who aren't main characters, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, every human being in the background of the series acts pretty much exactly the same.
Right. Maybe Vulcans don't... Maybe there's a Vulcan who really loves tacos, right? But, like, we don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, you get a little bit of that in Deep Space Nine with the one Vulcan who's like a smuggler.
Yeah,
and the one Vulcan who's like a fucking serial killer.
Yeah.
There's difference in Vulcans, but when it comes to, like... There would have been a riot if a Vulcan showed up and he didn't look like Spock. Like, there would have been a fucking riot.
You have to, right, you have to, like in the real world, like, let's say Star Trek was real... Like, there would probably be Vulcans walking around who have adopted human hairstyles, right? Yeah. Like, that's just the way it goes, especially if they live here. They would just do that.
And technically, like, if you look at the Vulcan hairstyles, every Vulcan has a very slightly different version of that hairstyle.
Yeah. But there are people that love simplicity and logic, so they're not going to have, like, elaborate hairstyle. Like, they're just not, right?
Yeah, I mean,
they're probably going to just go with the Mo cut.
In TOS, the only, like, bowl cut that you see on a Vulcan in like, the first season or so is Spock and his dad. And the other Vulcans all have different haircuts. Like, some of them have shaved bald heads.
Right.
Which continues on into the movies, even.
Oh, yeah.
So there are Vulcans with different haircuts. It's just, maybe it's like a Starfleet thing, like... Really, if you saw all the humans that are in the military right now, they all have the same haircut.
Exactly, yeah.
I understand what you're saying, for sure, though.
Yeah.
I just don't know how well that would fit into a theme.
There is a little bit of that, but I think it's more of a for us type of... It's a storytelling convention that can't be helped. Like... Your character is a wizard in a book. You're gonna have to make him look like a wizard.
He's gotta have a big old beard.
Yeah, you gotta let everybody know he's a wizard. So,
because it looks weird otherwise. Like it's cool. You can do crazy cool things that are whatever, but like people aren't gonna look at your character and be like, "That's a wizard."
Right. There needs to be a certain level of fundamental understanding of what this thing is.
Yeah, like you can make a Vulcan look however you want, but people aren't going to look at it and say that's a Vulcan. You're going to have to explain it's a Vulcan every time.
You're going to have to explain why it doesn't look like that too, right?
It's the nature of media, I think.
It's the nature of stories. Yeah, it's the only way that it works with people.
Anyway.
But that's a good point. They do that a little bit.
They do. What about an episode of Contrast? Say, pick some favorite characters and then select some excellent and some terrible moments and scenes featuring them. That'd be good.
That's really good.
To pick a character and do like their high and then their low.
Their low. That would be great. Highs and lows.
Highs and lows.
We could pick like one episode we think like exemplifies like Geordi, and then an episode where Geordi's just a total ass.
Where he just gets shit on the whole episode.
I know which episode that is. It's the one where he falls in love with Leia Brahms, and she's like, "I'm married."
God, that episode is awful for him.
It's tough. That's a tough one.
He's also like a holodeck weirdo in that episode.
Yeah, he gets a little holodecky. Little Reginald Barkley-ish.
Yeah. Do you guys know anything about computer science? No.
I know they run on electricity. Damn. Is that true? Do they run on electricity?
Smart boy over here with his college degree.
I watch Star Trek. I pick some things up.
There's an episode of DS9 late in the series where O'Brien and Bashir get trapped in the holodeck, and the bad gangsters take over Vic Fontaine's lounge.
Yeah.
Anyway, at the beginning, when they realize they're stuck, O'Brien references a real-life programming thing called Dangling pointer error. Even the name. I laughed hysterically at this, but I'm probably one of only 7 people on the Earth that did. So yeah.
That is an example of a phenomena called Knowles' law of media accuracy. You can look it up, but it states that if something is in a various medii, and only you know about it, you are a part of an exclusive group of people, and the accuracy of that thing is determined by you, because you're an expert in that field, right?
Damn, dude, you learned me something. I didn't know anything about that.
The example that they give is really funny. You'll like it, Jeff. It's I guess a newspaper in New York at some point in the 90s when Cowboy Bebop was a thing. Put a picture of Ed, the girl, Ed, at a computer, like, in the show, and it said, the caption was, Cowboy Bebop at his computer.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah. So that's the example of, like, that person didn't know what that was, but they printed it in media, but you know what it is, so, you know, it's weird. Yeah, there's certain stuff like that. In some episodes when they start referencing, like, classical painters and shit. Yeah.
And I know exactly what they're talking about. Like, there's something in TNG where there's this guy describing, like, a painting technique, and it's supposed to be really boring.
Right.
And I was like, I know all this. Like,
that's awesome. That's awesome. I love shit like that.
Thanks always, dudes. Poppy.
Bye, Poppy.
At the Outlaw Jose on Twitter.
Okay.
I've added you guys a few times here and there, and that's always exciting, but I'm too lazy to do Twitter right and have embarrassingly few followers.
That's all right. Well, there's no doing Twitter right. Just remember that.
Just don't be a Nazi and you'll be fine. Hopefully I'm dating this, because that ends. Yeah,
that'll be great if it's dated. That'll be great.
P.S. Every time you reference Parker Lewis, George Kirk dies by 1/100th%.
Oh my god, how did he know?
How did you possibly know?
That we reference Parker Lewis Can't Lose.
It happens like every other episode, though, so it was a 50-50 shot.
We're just gonna have to do a Parker Lewis Can't Lose podcast.
It'd be short.
How many seasons were there? Like,
I think
1?
2. I think there were 2 seasons.
Oh, we could blow through that in a day.
Double extra PS. On that other show we don't mention, Josh, your stories were always better anyway.
Thank you. That's very nice.
That is very nice. I wasn't on that show, though, so who cares?
Neither was I for very long.
Oh! That's the saddest shit I ever heard.
It's like a self-burn. It works.
Our next email is from Chris Pittman.
Pittsman's Mustard.
Who says, hello, Trekmen.
Trekmen.
I've only ever seen Scott Bakula on Quantum Leap, so when I watch Enterprise, I just keep waiting for Dean Stockwell to show up with a cigar and try to hit on T'Pol.
He does show up later as a different character. Yeah.
Anyway, here are some pitches and some ideas for the upcoming episodes collections.
Oh shit, we're getting so many ideas. This is great.
Boston Sean Dupree's Pitch It or Ditch It. DS9. Quark smuggles a cute animal into the station, hoping to turn a profit on it. Rom finds it, falls in love, and feeds it after midnight. It starts growing larger and larger, and Quark and Rom must continue to creatively hide it from Odo or risk being kicked off the station.
All right, I love this. I'm pitching this. Yeah, this is amazing. That's great.
That is an absolute pitch, sir.
That's a super Gremlins / Stranger Things season 2.
Fuck yes.
Fucking great idea. That's a great idea.
TNG / Voyager.
Oh, God.
After Wesley Crusher has fully ascended into a traveler, he meets the super psychic Kess in the 5th dimension, and she flashes her cooch at him.
Oh, man. I want to say ditch it. Those are like the 2 worst characters. Yeah. Oh, man. I'm going to ditch it, even though the flashing the cooch on television might get me to watch some of it. I'd like to see how they play that out tastefully on Star Trek.
It's, Kess's actress flashed her cooch at children, everybody, if you don't know that story.
Yeah.
I'm going to
ditch it. So, there you go.
I'm going to ditch it like I hope that society ditches her in prison.
She's not in there anymore, I don't think.
Probably not. You don't get that long for that, I think.
No.
Collection ideas. I haven't watched much Enterprise, so I didn't include it in here, but fuck it. The Time Travel Collection.
Yeah.
Which, he included The City on the Edge of Forever from TOS.
Sure. You have to.
Tapestry from TNG.
Oh, yeah.
Past Tense Parts 1 and 2 from Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
And Before and After from Voyager.
Those are good. Those are really good. You could do Little Green Men, too, because you could do all kinds of ones.
That's true. You could definitely... That would have to be like a continuing collection that we keep coming back to.
Yeah, there's a ton of them.
The Prisoner Collection.
Okay.
Which is, of course, TOS Dagger of the Mind, TNG Chain of Command.
Yeah.
There
are 4 lights!
Yeah, Deep Space Nine is obviously Hard Time.
Oh, is that the one where they go in to the Jem'Hadar asteroid penal colony? I don't know the names.
Hard
I'm sorry.
Time is the one where
oh no,
O'Brien goes to a fake mental prison.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And The Thaw from Voyager.
I don't know The Thaw. I don't remember what that one is.
Either. Is that the one with Amelia Earhart?
I wish.
Did they thaw her out?
Can we do an Amelia Earhart collection every time people from Star Trek found Amelia Earhart?
Oh man, there's too many.
I feel like there's more than once.
Twins and Clones collection.
Oh yeah.
Of course, TOS is The Devil in the Dark, the 2 Kirks.
Yeah.
TNG is Second Chances. Deep Space Nine is A Man Alone, and Voyager is Faces.
There's one on Enterprise too with Trip.
Well, that Twins and Clones could be one. We'll put that on the list.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
And he titled his email Star Trekkin' Across the Universe. Did you ever look up Star Trekkin'?
Yeah, I've seen it. I think you showed it to me, didn't you?
I think so. There's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow.
Fucking insane.
Yeah, it makes you
simpler times.
It makes you feel absolutely insane when you're watching it. Our next email is from Sam Lindstrom.
Good name.
From the Lindstrom Institute.
That's the Daystrom Institute.
It's the knockoff Daystrom.
It's the lesser one. It's like Daystrom's like Ivy League. What's like below Ivy League?
Lindstrom is like Yale and Daystrom is Harvard.
Are you saying Harvard's better than Yale?
Yes.
Oh,
Harvard is in more movies, so it's better. I've never been to either of these places, Josh.
I've been to Harvard.
I know you have, you fucking PhD bitch. Greetings, Trek boys.
Trek boys.
I come bearing conversation topics loosely affiliated with the show you like to watch.
Oh yeah.
I read an article. Oh, the name of this email is Allegory, more like Allegorny.
I love it. I'm into this.
Which I love. I read an article a little while back that was proposing a crackdown on loose allegory in modern fantasy and science fiction.
Oh my god, this sounds like super complicated.
The argument they were making was, if these stories are trying to use real-world problems to elevate their material, they need to properly represent them, or they're just misleading their audience.
Sure, I agree with that.
The example they used was the X-Men.
Okay.
Because the series was always about this or that underprivileged subculture overcoming the prejudice that was holding them down. The article insists it does a disservice to a real-world oppressed group or groups when they pair that story with one where superheroes live in a secret mansion and save the world from robots and Holocaust victims.
Sure.
I can understand that, but...
Yeah, I don't think that that's how stories work, though, honestly. Stories... and allegories allow for a wide-ranging variety of human beings from different age groups, social backgrounds, races, creeds, to understand a certain type of thing.
Could you imagine how boring media and fiction in general would be?
If it was real, yeah.
If everything just told the issue they're trying to tell you straight up, right at you.
Okay, so let's use X-Men as an example, right? Like, let's say X-Men, in an attempt to make the plight of the mutants more real, let's say that there is now a gay X-Men, which is great.
There is.
I think that's great. There already is one, sure.
A few of them, actually.
Right. But let's say, like, then all the plight of the X-Men gets put onto this one character. It now becomes not a story anymore about the X-Men, and
I feel like it becomes cheaper that way, though, is the thing.
Right.
Like, it's something I talked about when we talked about the Maquis, which he talks about in a second.
Yeah.
But it horribly cheapens the allegory to try and tie the Maquis plight with the Native Americans, because the Maquis plight is so paper thin, it like tries it almost devalues the Native American plight, which is horrible. Right.
The plight of the allegory, the group in question in the allegory, needs a chance to grow on its own and maybe become it might say something that you never thought was going to be said, right? Yeah. That's how stories evolve and get good.
So the way it would be, like, more than just having one X-Men that's gay, it would be like, okay, now all the X-Men are gay. And the plight is also about, like, acceptance of their sexuality. Right. But now they have a gene that, like, makes them gay that could be, like...
exploited or changed.
And, like, put in somebody, because that's how the X gene works.
Right.
Like, you run into all these horrible, horrible pitfalls with, like, allegory has to be as heavy-handed as humanly possible.
Yeah, allegories are blunt instruments, generally speaking. And I know we all like to think we're super geniuses now because we have the internet and we can look up other people's opinions and make them our own. But, like, the point of a story is to get something out of it for yourself. That's the only point of a story.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it doesn't really matter what other people think about it. It's what you got out of it.
It's what you get out of it.
And I feel like allegory goes a long way for that. Especially, like you were saying, like, people of any race, color, creed, sexuality, anything.
Yeah.
Like, people who wouldn't pick up a book to begin with about, like, Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X and, like, their difference of opinion and stuff. Like, the reason why I read books and articles and stuff about the difference in methodology between Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X was because as a kid I read X-Men and they mimicked that difference of ideology.
Yeah, Magneto and
Professor X and Magneto.
Right.
And, like, looking back on that as an adult, I was like, wow, that's really cool. I want to learn more about this. And it helps you grow as a person that way.
It opens doors. It isn't... If you want to learn about history, read a history book or take a history class. That's the thing.
If you want to know about the issues that are, like, really hitting people today, there are stories that do that. I don't think every story has to, though. I feel like allegory has its place, like wide-spreading, thin allegory has its place in fiction.
Yeah, you can't educate people through allegory in the sense of, like, that's like the Bible. Now we're getting into, like, Bible territory where, like, the story now becomes, like, the most important story. It's like, it's just one story and you can get many things out of it, you know? It's weird.
It continues.
Okay.
At first, I agree with this idea. You guys have talked before about the Maquis are a mess conceptually because the connections they try to make with Native American history are so disconnected and inaccurate. But with the example this article used being the X-Men, that got me to thinking about what this accuracy to real-life standard really implies.
Exactly.
Is there no room for fantastical elements in a story about tragedy? Is there no place for a creator to build off and away from reality in order to create something new that emerges as something more compelling than the sum of its parts?
Yeah. We used to talk about this in history class. Like, there's no way to know what somebody did, like, the morning of the Declaration of Independence, like, before they decided to do that. Like, And did those things go into that day? Like, did all the sum of those parts make that happen in that day?
Yeah, we only have the document. We don't have the...
Right.
And that's a huge problem with the document that keeps coming up, is we don't have the intent behind it either.
Besides, like, going back in time and, like looking at everyone and, like, writing down, well, today George Washington took a shit. Like, but does that even matter? I'm sure he did, yeah. But does that even, does that matter then? That's the question.
To do with it? Did he, like, have, like, a lot to think about when he was taking a shit?
Yeah. Does that play into the thing? So how far do you want to go, right? Like, where do you stop?
It's, I agree. There's a slippery slope.
It's just, yeah, it's just a very, you can easily say, like, oh, well, this isn't accurate. But it's like, things are not going to be, history isn't math. It's not pretty all the time, right? Like, you don't know exactly what happened, and sometimes you just have to, like, live with that, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what stories are, too.
Stories can fill in those gaps and give us a better understanding, even if it's not about that specific subject.
Right. That's their job. Not to be the subject.
How much of our established fictional storytelling is comprised of people looking at the world around them and saying, how about this, but with dragons and gnomes or fucking whatever? Where would the Gorn be if allegory was held to such a high standard of accuracy? How much Gorn would we lose to this?
I'm a Gorn addict, so
I'm all about the Gorn. So
I love Gorn. Yeah, this is a really good question. Oh my god.
So I wanted to raise the question to you guys. Where do you draw the line when it comes to allegory being accurate versus it being used as its own thing? What needs to be maintained in an idea before it loses that connection it was built on? Do you think creators are responsible for their audiences misinterpreting their work just because they weren't super clear about what they were going for?
This is too much questions. This is too much. This is too big. I will say this. I will say this. Here's what I believe fundamentally.
Okay.
I follow the Joseph Campbell thought that, like, fundamentally every human being on this planet, whether you live in a cave or you grew up in a mansion, has the same stories inside of us because of just the mechanism that we exist in. The human, like, existence makes us believe and think the same type of stories over and over and over until forever, till we're not here anymore.
That's true.
That's what I think. So I don't know, like, when it comes to, like, misinterpreting things, like, I think that's internet culture, a lot of it, you know?
I don't draw the line when it comes to allegory. The only line I draw when it comes to allegory is when you have attached yourself to a real-world issue.
Right.
Or a real-world plight of a people's, and you completely misrepresent it.
Sure.
That's my only line. You can do as broadly sweeping an allegory as you want.
Yeah, I mean, some of the best shit ever is that way, right? Like X-Men, right? It's a super broad thing, like... And
it awakens some people to understand that not everybody is treated the same as they are.
Right,
and
exactly.
That's, like... I mean, you develop empathy from the stories you read, right? From the people you're, like, exposed to growing up and the stories you read as you're growing up and getting older. That's where you learn empathy for your fellow man. And, you know, it's you can't put, like, the heaviest-handed issues of today into stories for, like, 6-year-olds. They're not going to understand it, and they're not going to get anything out of it.
Yeah, and it won't last throughout time either. Like, who the fuck cares what we're doing right now, honestly?
But I mean, like, you take something that's happening now and you turn it into a universal, right?
Right.
And, like, the X-Men, for example, it's, like, very broad, but you learn that, like, bigotry exists.
It's timeless. It's timeless, yeah.
Like, you learn as a child that bigotry and hatred can exist in a way that's, like, wrapped in a sort of colorful bow. That you can be like, why are they treating Wolverine this way? Like, why do they hate the Beast? And you learn because he's different.
Right.
And you as a kid, you have that little fork in the road, right? Where you're either just like, oh, well, this is just a fun story, whatever, who cares?
Or you decide that it means something.
Yeah, or you decide, like, well, I wouldn't treat the beast that way. He's a good guy.
Exactly.
And you learn empathy that way.
That's how it works, yeah.
And, you know, if you're like, oh, well, the allegory has to be, like, a racial allegory, right? And, like, it shouldn't be superheroes, because it's silly that it's superheroes.
This sounds like a hot take article that somebody was trying to make a hot take on about something that's existed since the beginning of writing and storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, there's that sort of, like, push to make everything more real in everything.
Yeah.
Which is a horrible mistake in my book.
It's not a great idea, no.
Like, I can't stand that push for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, when people watch a movie or read a book or play a video game and they're like, oh, I didn't like it because it wasn't realistic, I'm like, well, you're an idiot.
Well, yeah, like that's the whole point. Here's the thing. I live in reality. It's fucking not great all the time. I want to, like, go to another place. Like, what about imagination and
like some dude,
the holodeck in my brain? Like that's where I want to go.
With was talking about the Ninja Turtles movies, right? And he was like, yeah, I like those new Ninja Turtles movies a lot better. And I was like, the Michael Bay ones? And he was like, yeah, I like those a lot better because they're, like, way more realistic. I can't handle that kiddie shit, like, making it all unrealistic. And I was like,
I don't like when my pizza-eating, skateboarding turtles are in a not realistic situation. I hate that too.
I was like, are you like brain damaged?
Listen, Jeff, my pizza-eating, skateboarding, partying turtles need to go to the bank every now and then, and I want to see it.
There's that quote by George R.R. Martin, right? And George R.R. Martin's a great author, whatever. I'm not going to say anything bad against him. But there's this quote where he's like, I could never get into Tolkien's writing because I always wondered, like, what was Aragorn's tax policy when he was king?
Yeah.
And my answer to that, George R.R. Martin, is who gives a fuck?
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's a fucking story.
When he's the king. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. There is no story. That's the point. Write that story if that's what you want to do. Write it.
And he did.
And he did. And then every book that he writes is like, and then Tyrion sat down to break his fast. And it's like, I don't give a fuck about him eating breakfast. I don't care.
Unless you're, like, talking about the fucking, like, sinews of his muscle, like, stretching against the turkey meat that he's eating and his bronze skin glistening. This could either be Conan the Barbarian or porno. I'm just realizing that I'm
there's little difference.
There is a very thin line.
That's a whole other topic.
Fuck. This is the hardest, like, most in-depth question I think we've ever gotten.
Yeah, it's a very difficult question. It's very long. I mean, we could talk about this for like 2 weeks, you and I.
This could be the longest podcast in history.
Yeah. And this is a super huge question.
It's on its way right now, so. So let's say that's the answers that we're giving you. Sam concludes his email by saying, also, I really dug your Inktober stuff on Twitter last month, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, Jeff.
Oh, thank you.
I liked it, too. I was retweeting the shit out of it.
I appreciated that.
I'm just telling you in case you forgot. I did that. I
keep track of all your good boy points. Don't worry.
Yes!
Thank you, though. Like, anybody that's into my art, I'm, like, super thankful for. And Josh, I listened to Pretend Friends. How many cool podcasts does a boy gotta do before he gets on Wikipedia? 90?
Yeah, probably.
Great job as always, Trek Boys, and happy trails.
Trek Boys!
Trek Boys!
That was a great email. I wish we could spend a whole show talking about that.
Crazy, crazy shit. Our last email of the night.
Oh, shit.
Is from Joel.
Joel? Who's his last name? I know a Joel.
His name's Joel Har.
That's my cousin. God damn it. Yeah, I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Oh my god!
This asshole is getting a fucking question asked on my podcast!
You gotta answer it, too. You gotta answer it.
Oh, my God. Now I'm on the spot. Okay, let's do this.
He starts the email by saying, "Hey, you guys." I'm new to interacting with podcast creators via email or by other means. Hell, I'm new to interacting with anyone in general, so bear with me if this is the stupidest correspondence you've ever received.
We'll talk about him in high school at another point in time.
Oh, no.
I'm throwing him under the bus.
As for the status of my Star Trek knowledge, I watched all of TNG and am now halfway-ish through Season 3 of DS9.
Yeah, I keep pushing him. I'm like, you gotta watch all of it.
My exposure to TOS and Voyager and any movie is spotty at best as of now. I've watched a fair amount of random Voyager episodes recently while spending many weeks in a hotel room while I was away on business.
Yeah, he's like my... I don't have a brother or sister, so he's like my brother, so like...
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, he worked like at a hospital, like this hospital thing, so he got to watch Voyager. That was his like go home to the hotel room prize for the day.
It's pretty much what he wrote. He would go back and liquefy, let his brain liquefy to recharge for the week by watching Voyager.
Yeah.
And he strongly agrees with Josh's take on it being low risk, low reward.
Yeah.
And it holds a special place in his heart because of that. But not in the main artery.
It's candy. It's like Star Trek candy. He can't live off of candy.
Does kind of suck, though.
Yeah, there's plenty of episodes where you're like, I could skip this one.
What I know of them, I know from M-Class Podcast. Basically, you spoil me constantly, but I welcome it. Lately, I've been finding an urge to discuss certain episodes with anybody after I watch them, but I have no one in my life who would be interested in them.
Oh my God, get the fuck out of my face. Fucking idiot.
So I felt moved to send you an M-Class email about it. After all, we don't all have a direct line to discuss these things with Josh whenever we feel like it. ... Okay, I read this earlier and was like, wow, leave me out of it, right? But now I know why.
Yeah, because he can fucking just text me whenever the fuck he wants. I live like 3 blocks away from this person.
You asked for some theme requests and episodes which would work well with those themes. Recently, I really enjoyed the past tense 2-parter episodes.
Yeah.
Aside from the standard moral lessons, which we all love so much, I found the short scenes where Kira and O'Brien were beaming in and out of different time periods looking for their friends to be some of the funniest unexpected comedy I've seen to date.
Yeah, yeah.
I was howling uncontrollably. It was a perfect break from all the seriousness of the Bell riots. I don't know, maybe it was just me. No, I like it.
Yeah, they go back to like the 60s and they run into like it's like the scene from fucking Futurama when Zoidberg goes back in time and meets Andy Warhol, and Andy Warhol's like, a lobster, man, what a bore. It's like the exact same scene as that.
It pretty much is. That episode could fit easily into 2 themes, time travel episodes or multi-part episodes. That would be like every
that's
episode.
A super good one. No, I think he means like double, like to be continued episodes.
Yeah, that is a really good one. I'll put that on the list.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm sure there are other episodes that fit in those themes, and you'd like me to give you more examples of those, but I'm going to leave that to you, the experts. That's what we pay you for at some point, theoretically, in the future. This guy should be having his own podcast.
Yeah, I know.
While I was driving home from work listening, I had other ideas for themes, but it's late now and I can't remember shit, so I won't even try. Maybe that's an M-Class email for another day.
Oh, yeah.
One last thing, Jeff. On several occasions now, you've caught yourself speaking with a southern accent, and you seemed ashamed by it. Josh likes to tell you that he doesn't even notice your accent, but I think he's just trying to make you feel better. You actually sound southern as shit.
Holy shit.
No, not really. I'm just screwing with you. Dude, I was reading that and my blood pressure was just racing. I was like, what? What?
Yeah, you didn't know. Yeah, well, now you know. That's, yeah.
What in tarnation?
What the hell?
Anyway.
Oh, my southern blood.
Anyway, what I'm actually trying to say is, fuck it, man. You talk the way your life experience dictated you would talk. No shame for who you are or where you come from.
Yep, there you go.
But seriously, watch Battlestar Galactica. You should be fucking ashamed of yourself.
Yeah. I think he's a bigger fan of Battlestar than I am.
Jesus. One day, guys. Get off my fucking bike, Josh and Josh's cousin.
We both love Katie Sackhoff a lot, so...
Fucking Josh and Joel. All you J motherfuckers.
My whole family is like J names. It's fucked up.
Your brother Jeff.
And my brother Jeff.
I appreciate that, though. There's always, like... It's like a weird double-edged sword being from West Virginia, because, like...
I don't notice it. Honestly, I don't notice it.
There's like this weird sort of, like, pride about it. Since, like, my family came up from absolutely fucking nothing off a boat from Ireland and just came to West Virginia and just started, like, working in coal mines and shit.
Yeah.
And, like, it's a beautiful state, but the people in it are fucking awful.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you don't have schools.
Yeah, well... like, there are good people here for sure, but they're all the same people that are like me, that are like, man, this place fucking sucks. I'd like to get out of it.
That's, I think, part of it, too, is, like, everyone leaves, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it is here.
There's no business here, right?
Yeah. It's not... It's... I know
like,
what that's like.
I'm trying to move near, like, someplace where I can get work. Like... Either, whether that be Pittsburgh or Philly or somewhere in Maryland.
Well, if you move to Philly, you'll have some sex work to do.
Oh!
With me, Josh.
You're being real literal today. You're just saying what you mean.
Josh doesn't get that literal.
You can't
Third person literal.
You can't just say how you feel.
That makes me angry.
I'm pretty sure at some point we had an email from Steve, but I don't know what the fuck happened to it, so sorry.
Oh, what happened? Steve.
Sorry, Steve. It got lost somewhere.
Instead of the email, I'll tell you something that I saw from him, that it was snowing around him the other day.
No, wait, I found it!
Shit, there goes my great snow story. Fuck.
I actually found one from Boston Sean Dupree as well.
Jesus Christ.
Who writes, "Hey Reba boys."
Reba boys? Were we talking about Reba? Is that what we were doing?
I don't remember. I think we mentioned it.
I think we were. Yeah, I think we were.
Big fan of Future Shotgun here. I do love that he has like the farmer at the beginning has like a laser shotgun.
Yeah, it's like, what kind of gun is that? I always wonder that.
They call it like a plasma rifle or something.
Yeah, I guess it just shoots like a flèche gun, right? Like it's like a superheated gun, like bullet or something. Yes. I don't know.
That was a pretty cool episode. And most Star Trek that I've seen, each episode only has 2 to 3 sets.
Yeah, there's
like a set's in a thing. I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
This was kind of like a movie. We went all over the place.
Yeah.
Really made the series feel fresh. I have no doubt that this pilot had the biggest budget of all the pilots we've watched so far.
I don't know if that's true, but probably. I wouldn't be surprised. We went to Brazil. We went to Kronos. We went to Suliban Place.
We went to 2, count 'em, 2 space stations.
We went to fucking Space Detroit.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about budget or set designs or anything like that. I want to talk about the title sequence and theme song. What the fuck was that?
I'm telling you, man, it's the UPN effect. It's the early 2000s TV. Things needed to be soft and fuzzy around the edges because your mom is gonna watch it with her new husband, your stepdad.
I'll never call him stepdad ever.
Never.
Now, while I do think Rod Stewart is sexy and I do want his body, he does not invoke space drama. In light of that, I want to play a special edition of Boston Sean's Pitch It or Ditch It.
Oh my god, what a segue.
1. Star Trek Enterprise theme by Boyz II Men.
I would be into that. Philly represent, Boyz II Men.
Fucking Motown Philly's back again.
Yeah, Motown Philly back again. Hell yeah, pitch it.
2. Star Trek Enterprise theme music by Danny Elfman. He will supply the lyrics.
Oh my god. It would be better than the one that they have, so sure, I guess. I love Danny Elfman.
Star Trek Enterprise theme music by Electric Light Orchestra.
definitely.
Full ELO. Dude, I fucking love ELO.
You could just put its magic on the screen. It would work.
Dude, fucking Twilight. Just play Twilight.
Yeah.
Dude, I fucking love ELO. I'm not gonna lie to you.
They're great. I agree with that statement.
Or the correct answer, 4, Star Trek Enterprise theme by David fucking Bowie.
Oh my god. What, like Space Oddity?
Hell yeah. I'd pitch that.
It's too depressing. Here's what I think you could definitely do, especially in this series, right? Like, you could do what 2009 desperately wanted to do with Beastie Boys, but pick something like from the 70s, like a classic rock song, and just put it in and have it be the theme song. Like, you could totally do that for this show.
Magic Carpet Ride.
You could do Magic Carpet Ride. It's a little on the nose, but it would work.
Fucking Zephyr Cochran loves it.
Yeah, you could totally do that.
Now that we're on the topic, please rank the series title sequences. Do your best to just rate the title sequence, and don't just put Voyager on the bottom because you like that series the least. Thanks, Jeff, for picking my email. And if any other emails pitch or ditch a series crossover with Quantum Leap, please tell them that we all already thought of that. Sean.
he's stamping his trademark.
Bitter. So bitter.
A little bit. What's the best one? The best one probably is Voyager. Because it has the ship in it, and you get to fly by all this cool space stuff.
Well, TNG does that.
Yeah, but it's old, and it doesn't look right.
I don't
it's
know.
Weird.
TNG is for me. Because I love that theme song.
The song, yeah, for the song TNG, yes.
Honestly, like... I like Faith of the Heart, ironically. Which I at least like more, like, than Deep Space Nine's theme.
Deep Space Nine is the worst.
The visuals of the Deep Space Nine opening are great.
They're also very boring, though. Yeah, they're
static, but
they spice it up. They throw a couple guys in there in season 3.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd say probably... I don't know. I still don't like Enterprise's theme. It'd be the bottom.
I think you have to pick Enterprise as the worst because of the song.
So it's like TOS. It's like TNG, TOS, Voyager.
Yeah, TOS is great. That's true. Yeah.
Then Deep Space Nine, and then...
I would agree with that list. I'll go with that list.
Thank you, Boston Sean Dupree.
Great question.
Thank you for your pitch it or ditch it. And Steve's email. We finally found it.
Oh my god, here we go. Oh my god.
So you finally got to Enterprise. Congrats, and I'm sorry. I love you, and we will get through this. Just take deep breaths and suck down that scotch.
We're gonna love every second of this.
I had this series running in the background while writing parts of the next episode of my podcast, Don't Feed After Midnight.
There you go.
Had to get that plug in there.
It's a great name.
And it kept distracting me, but not in a good way.
Oh, no.
I suppose most of my issues with the series stem from the fact that they almost had it right. The stories, for the most part, looked good at a glance. However, the story arcs were far too long and took 1 or 2 seasons to finish. This limited the writer's ability to pitch new stories, I'm sure.
Well, the main story in the show, right? Like, this is the first Star Trek that... when you're going into it as a Star Trek fan, you know where they're going.
Yeah.
Like, it was going to be the Romulans. It was always going to be the Romulans. So, how they got to that point is important. And I think they do a good job of it. But they never get you never get the payoff.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know, everybody.
I think they do a good job of it. Because they tease you with a Romulan episode pretty early on. And, it's great. It's a great episode. So I'll stick up for the show all day long. I love this show. But I understand if you don't. I get it.
I'm going to be like jumping around here a little bit because he wrote a fucking novel. The over-sexualization of T'Pol was also off-putting. I mean, you can make a character sexy and interesting without stripping her nude 4 times a season and dressing her in a 90s tracksuit that's one size too small.
That does look comfortable, though.
It does. The fabric looks really comfortable.
It looks soft as hell.
There was something mildly sexually exploitive about it. I'm no white knight here, but trust me, but it just struck me as kind of immature and crude sometimes.
Oh, no, well, again, it's because it's on UPN. Like, they were totally doing that, yeah.
He says it just wasn't in tune with what Trek had represented up to that point. I mean... Yeah, it's weird how sort of regressive it is because like people like make fun of Uhura wearing the short skirt, right? Like, oh, you could see her butt sometimes. Yeah, and then T'Pol is like stripping naked 4 times a season. Yeah, and people don't really point that out very often as being strange.
It's the reason they did it is for ratings, which is shitty. That's a shitty reason, and it shouldn't be that way. I agree with that. But it was 2001, so, you know. I don't know. Like, that doesn't mean it's okay, but like that's why they did it. That's all I'm saying. That's the only reason. If it were now, they wouldn't do that stuff.
No, well, maybe. I mean, the fucking...
Well, maybe they would.
Into Darkness had the panty scene.
Yeah, but that's because Ding Dong wrote that shit.
Yeah. He gets into a pitch it or ditch it kind of thing, I guess, where he talks about like Marvel's What If comics where like things are just slightly different.
Oh, they have a Star Wars one like that. Star Wars Infinity. Oh, yeah. Where like, yeah, it does all 3 of the original movies, and like, the first one I forget what happens, but something changes slightly, which changes the whole story.
Yeah, like that's like all the what ifs are like that, but they're like self-contained. They don't. Continue.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it's like...
Exactly.
What if T'Pol never got over her addiction to Trillium D? What if she just went insane and started killing anyone who found out about her problem?
Well, they would have to kill her, I guess, right?
Being so smart and capable, she could eliminate crew members without leaving traces, make their deaths look like accidents, or focus the suspicion onto other people. Do you like Star Trek, Steve?
They like the thing with Trillium is like they're like crazy zombies. Like, they're not like smart.
Like all of his emails are about people murdering or becoming like drug fucking pushers or like cannibalism and shit.
That's Steve. That's our Steve. That's our Stevie.
She'd be driven ravenously insane and eventually eliminating the entire crew until she was left alone.
That would be terrible show. I would not watch that show.
Expanse on an empty ship with only the ghosts of her crewmates and the late captain's dog to keep her company. If only he didn't keep staring at her with those accusing eyes. ...
The dog?
Fade out to Q and the Watcher from the Marvel Universe looking into the emptiness of space, and Q saying, "See, wouldn't the fabric of the universe be more interesting if you pull a thread here or stitch a hole there?"
Think of my God, Q. Now, one thing we don't get in Enterprise is Q. No Q in Enterprise.
No, that'd be weird.
It's too much.
I'm gonna ditch it real hard.
It sounds like a good ghost story. I would tell that ghost story at a camping
that'd
time.
Be a campfire story for sure. Yeah. All right, we got time for one more. We're like fucking Jesus.
We're like fucking Jesus in the butthole. I mean,
Jesus.
Fucking Jesus in the butthole.
Starting a new trend. Our last email of the night is from Eric Bogenschutz.
Great name.
Who says, "Hey boys.
Hi.
I've been waiting to ask this until you got to Enterprise, but what do you think of the opening themes for each show?" Oh, we already answered this.
Fuck!
Oh.
Well.
But he did sign it Junior Science Officer Eric Bogenschutz, which I thought was just adorable. I love that.
That's awesome.
Everybody give yourself Star Trek titles when you write
that. Oh, hell yes, please.
I want that shit. You know what? I think that's all for tonight.
I do too.
I want to thank everybody who wrote in. You guys are all great, even if some of you have some weird fucking ideas about what Star Trek should be. I want to thank Josh for being my co-host.
Thank you, Jeff.
And I want you guys to all tune in next time for M-Class emails.
Or next time.
Yeah, next week is M-Class podcast.
Sure.
And the week afterwards is M-Class emails.
We're definitely on schedule now.
Yeah,
We're definitely on schedule. We're totally on schedule.
This will give us some cushion room, right? Right?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Thanks everybody, and tune in next time for more Star Trek and goodness.
Bye.
Bye.